What's going on, my dummies, and welcome back to another Digimon Deck Tech. In today's video, we are going over a deck that I really dislike. I hate playing this deck. I really do. It makes me feel bad playing the deck. It's not that it's not a good deck. It is a very good deck. I just like to play a game and not punch face. If you like punching face, if you like winning quickly, this deck is all for you. This deck is Purple Rush. So I'm going to go on and get started in this. For our Digitama, I normally do not like a 4-1 split. This is completely fine. Pagumon is the one you want. You want to try to get stuff in your graveyard, but Yaamon is still fine. It's basically for the card advantage. We play a lot of rookies, so we're going to be Digivolving our Digitama as many times as possible. So we want to make sure that we have that last little card in our hand to be able to push everything off. So Yaamon is fine, but we want to discard the top when we attack with Pagumon. We want that ability there. Next up, we have for DemiDevimon. This is the vanilla. Just a generic thing, 3000 DP, 2 cost to play. We're normally going to be hard casting him instead of Digivolving him if possible because he's less memory. We want to make sure that we get our abilities off, but we also want to make sure that we're starving our opponent as much as possible. So we can get a full board very quickly. The more things attacking at one time, the better off we are. Next up, we have Impmon. Impmon, when he's destroyed, discard 3, so it makes it really difficult for your opponent to deal with. He attacks in a lot. For 1000 DP, he's going to take a security regardless. But if he dies to security, we'll still milling cards, which is something that we really want to do in the first place. This is one that we will be Digivolving or hard playing. This is just a good card in general. Tapirmon 2000 DP, 3 cast to play, 0 to evolve, just like the rest of them. When he's destroyed, we draw a card. So like this card doesn't feel bad to hard play him, nor does it feel bad to Digivolve him because we're actually gaining more and more memory. But we don't want to play a champion on top of him. Not that we Digivolve a lot. We do on occasion. I've found myself Digivolving a Devimon all the time in this deck. So it doesn't feel bad Digivolving anything. Next up, we have Gabumon. Gabumon and the next one, Tsukaimon. Both of those are in this deck because, like I said, we sometimes do Digivolve into our champions. These give those champions abilities that make it awkward for our opponent to deal with them. And like I said, we make our opponent deal with our stuff, not the other way around. They just don't do it. We force them to deal with it because if they don't deal with it, they're going to die extremely quickly. Gabumon's inheritable skill is draw 2, discard 1 from your hand when destroyed. The inheritable skill on Tsukaimon is get 1 memory when destroyed. Both of them are 3 cost to play, 0 to evolve, 2000 DP. Really good units for this deck. And I've found times where I just play them just to swing with them. It's not often, but like sometimes I never have the chance to evolve them because I'm in and out so quickly. Next up, we have Vilemon. We have blockers in this deck. I couldn't find anything when I was building the deck that would really fit Vilemon any better than this. I like it for the mirror match. I like it for other aggro decks. I like it against Omnimon because if we play it against Omnimon, Omnimon just assumes that we're just playing this weird, like some type of purple deck for card advantage. And then they target the Vilemon, and that's not what we cared about. We cared about the little rookies that we have. So, I like Vilemon a lot in this deck. Next up, we have Wizardmon. We're never going to get his first ability off. We don't play Yellow Digimon to do that. Now, there is a Centaurus build that I was thinking about, but it just kind of sucked. But the Centaurus build basically plays Heat Viper, so you can give him Vengeance, so you can swing at stuff, and then use the Heat Viper to sack the Centaurusmon, like basically control the field deck kind of thing. But importantly enough, when he's destroyed, we draw a card. So this is another replacement. This is one that we evolve into from Gabumon. That way I'm drawing 3 cards and discarding 1, so I'm able to dig for the stuff that I need to finish my opponent off. Next up, we have Devimon. In my opinion, the most powerful non-rare higher purple Digimon in arguably the strongest Digimon in the game to date. Vengeance, as a regular skill, inheritable skill, Give Vengeance. 6 cost to play, which is exceedingly high, but we have ways to play him for free, so we're not really that worried about it. 2 to evolve, which is average, and then 4,000 DP. We don't care what his DP is, other than the fact when he attacks security. He trades very often with opponents' Digimon, and giving him Vengeance makes it really, really difficult. Or I guess it's Retaliate in English, it is not Vengeance, so I'm going to start saying that instead, Retaliate. Him having Retaliate makes it really hard. Our opponent can't attack him without losing their stuff. The only time it really matters is when we attack his security, but we have ways, like I said, to get him back, so it doesn't matter. So keep that in mind. Devimon is probably one of the best cards in this deck. Next up, we have Kimeramon. This is one of the ones we use for Tapirmon. We use it for Wizardmon. We use it for Impmon. Basically, we hard play him. He's 7 cost to play. We hard play him. We never Digivolve into him. That's why we don't have a lot of champions. 7,000 DP, which is pretty good. But when we play him, we destroy one of our Digimon to destroy one of our opponent's level 5 or higher. So if they start getting out of hand and they start Digivolving up, we can easily just go Kimeramon, destroy something, get card advantage off of what we destroyed to destroy their Digimon. So for example, we'd go Kimeramon, destroy our Impmon, destroy your card, mill over the top 3 cards of our deck to set up for Piedmont. So overall, I think it's a really good card. I like it anyways. Next up, we have Piedmont. 10,000 DP, which is relatively low. 12 cost to hard play. 3 to evolve, which will never evolve him. He does have Retaliate. And he also says when played. So a when played effect does not, in case you were wondering, when played effects like Kimeramon and Piedmont, they will not trigger when you Digivolve them. You have to play them for their hard cost. But without further ado, when you play Piedmon, you may play up to 2 level 4 or less Digimon from your trash without playing their cost. Their on-play skill does not trigger. So basically, we could get 2 Devimon back. We could get 2 Tapirmon back. We can get 2 Impmon back to make it more difficult for our opponent to deal with. That's why we have so many rookies and champions. And Kimeramon and Piedmont are our only ultimates or level 5s and 6s. So we can deal, we're trying to make a big board. Piedmont does that. Piedmont goes, okay, I'm getting 2 things. If you can't deal with these 3 things that are on the battlefield, you're going to lose. So that's why I like Piedmont so much. Next up, we are playing a 2 of a Beelzemon. Now, I had 4 in the deck. I was like, this is too much. I see it too often. So I cut it down to 3, and I was still seeing it too much. 2 is fine. You don't want to see him all the time, but you want to see him on occasion. So, basically, we can Digivolve into an Impmon on Beelzemon. So what we're trying to attempt to do is be able to play him on top of the Impmon. But he also has another ability that when you Digivolve into him, he destroys one of your opponent's level 4 lowers. Now, the important thing to note about this, and I've done this a lot with Kimeramon, I will hard play the Kimeramon, right? And when I hard play the Kimeramon, I'm giving my opponent normally 3 to 5 memory. It's some absurd memory. But it's normally just enough to get them to a level 4 or to play a level 4. So normally what I do is I keep the Beelzemon, and I'll use the Beelzemon on top of the Kimeramon instead of evolving it on the Impmon. In my opinion, it's a really good kill spell, and it sets my opponent back a little bit farther to where I have time to do what I want. So that's why I play the Beelzemon. It's because I can evolve it onto Kimeramon, and I can also free evolve it off of Impmon for 4 to destroy something. So I'm using him as an option card, but also as a beefy unit to swing with if I have to. Next up, we have Rematch. This card is insane. I'm only playing 2 of them because the other cards I feel like is better. If you do not like Trump Sword, and I'll get to it. If you don't like Trump Sword being at 4, I would recommend you make Rematch 3 or 4. Rematch is just insane. With a Devimon, you go play Rematch, swing with Devimon, kill your Digimon, or swing at security. If he dies in the security checks, he comes back, So your opponent's like, oh, okay, well, he's not gone. So keep that in mind. Oh, but what it does, one of your Digimon gets, when destroyed, play this Digimon without playing its Digivolution cost. Their on-played effects will not activate. So you can't go Kimeramon, swing with Rematch on it, get the Kimeramon back to blow something up, or Piedmon swing with Rematch on it to get 2 cards back when it gets destroyed. That's not... I think like they knew what they were doing when they made these cards. Next up, we have Grizzly Wing. Grizzly Wing is a cheap option for us to get our level 3 Digimon back from our trash. Basically, 2 costs to play. Security effect adds it to our hand. Or no, activates the main effect. Play 1 level 3 Digimon from our trash without paying its evolution cost. Its own place effects don't activate. But it's fine because all of our effects are not on place other than Kimeramon and Piedmon. So we're not really getting those abilities. We're getting the abilities like Devimon, or we're getting Wizardmon, or we're getting Impmon, stuff that's when it's destroyed, or has abilities while it's on the field, not when it's entering. Next up, and finally, we have Trump Sword. 7 costs to play, security, activate the main effect. And the main effect is destroy one of your opponent's active Digimon. So it keeps your opponent, like, it stops Omnimon from his double swing. It can stop our opponent from wide swinging us, so like that's always a good sign. Like if we can stop them from wide swinging us, we can wide swing them. But that is the entirety of Purple Rookie Rush. Like I said, I don't enjoy this deck because I like playing longer games. I'm not saying this is a bad deck by any means. This deck is very, very powerful. It is very underestimated. Like I didn't figure they had enough cards to make this deck work. They got enough cards to make this deck work. It's insane. But yeah, I like it the way it is. I don't think there's anything I would tell you guys to replace for anything else. So there's that. I guess, like I said, if you wanted more rematches, start taking out Trump Swords, or you can take out the Beelzemons. If you can't afford them, I know they're expensive right now, but if you can't afford them, go ahead and play the 4 of Rematch, because Rematch is just a really good card. You can play the Rematch on a Digimon and swing with it, even if it doesn't die. That shows you that Digimon, if it did die on security checks, to be able to bring itself back. So like Impmon, for example, you can go Rematch on Impmon, swing, it dies to security checks, you mill 3, and it also brings itself back. So you got a security, you milled 3, and your Impmon is still there for 2 memory. So like overall, it's still really good. But yeah, that's the deck. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave a like, a comment, and subscribe, guys. You guys are giving me so much good love on these videos, and I do very much appreciate it. I cannot stress that enough. But I'll catch you guys in the next episode. Peace.